Welcome back to the Art of MMA. I am your host, Amal Thompson, and I am with,
Roger.
yes, sir. And we closed out the Mexico City fight night, Moreno versus Kavanagh. Um, we thought there'd be a lot of finishes. There were.
Mhm.
But there were also some unexpected, like unanimous decisions, some unexpected full fights. Um, a lot of the favorites that were favorites, we kind of saw why.
Mhm.
Um, and there was a controversial one in there, which I can't wait to talk about. But what did you see from this fight night that excited you, Roger?
A lot of these new guys belong where they're at. They do belong. I still think some of those odds. Simmer down with some of those odds.
Simmer down with
Um,
some dots.
but I do have to eat my words. Some of these fighters looked a lot better than I thought they were going to look,
Hmm.
and ended up being um, a little too much for some of the people who had been around for a little bit. And those guys might not be around for much longer, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
they're once you get to the UFC, you're good. Everybody knows you're a good fighter. You're probably beating most people in a lot of organizations. You might not be champion in those organizations, but you can beat a lot of those people, and at least compete with them. So these guys here coming in, getting wins. A lot of the new people got wins. Maybe all of them actually. Well, not all of them, because some of them fought each other. But the ones
Yeah.
that fought some of the veterans, a lot of them ended up with wins, and you kinda got to see that you know what? They do squarely belong there, and a lot of them are
Mhm.
super young, so pretty exciting to see some of these guys coming up. Um, so yeah, that's what and surprises. That main event was a big surprise for me because, as you
For
know,
me too. Yeah.
I didn't know much about Kavanaugh, and to see him go in there with somebody like Moreno, I still have some questions about him, um, but he answered a lot of them.
Yeah, he looked I didn't expect the performance that I got. I expected what he did. I expected that strategy to not last
Right.
for 5 straight rounds that high up. We talked about altitude and how you felt like it'd be a battle
Mhm.
against altitude, and I think in a lot of the lower level bouts, there was some of that
Yeah.
displayed. The Quinones Moutinho fight. I think
Mhm.
Quinones gassed a little bit. Martinez versus
Yep.
Vera. I think Martinez gassed a little bit. I think even Vera was a little bit breathing heavy, and some of these guys who you expect to be front foot pressure had to dial it back because they were
Mhm.
fatigued. Kavanaugh, though he did dial it back, he was still quick, still accurate, still active.
Yeah.
He dialed it back based on what his usual output is.
Mhm.
Still high output in the back end
Yeah.
rounds for most. So, um, but to open in the card, we had Damian Pinas against Wes Schultz, and the conversation was, will it be a battle of Wes Schultz utilizing that ground game
Mhm.
to kind of neutralize what Pinas could do with his hands? He did not.
Yeah.
He got punched and dropped repeatedly until they called it.
Yeah.
Um, again, the athleticism of Damian, which we kind of predicted would be an issue for Wes Schultz, reared its head. Um, he cut the cage off. He got in his face
Mhm.
really quickly, and that's all she wrote, man.
Yeah.
Tough way to see Schultz, kind of go in, I guess. In the span of 2 minutes and 30 seconds, 2 knockdowns before they called it. So I don't have much. I mean, Peanuts is a great specimen in terms of what he could present athletically. I think he's still a bit raw. I don't think we learned too much from this. In a middleweight division that has a version of this guy. Nah. Gautier fights welterweight, doesn't he?
Mm.
Yeah,
Why
because
is that
we
slipping my
compare him to
mind right now?
Kamaru. We compare him to Kamaru and how he gets down to that weight, I think. Um, so yeah, Gautier is the guy that reminds me a little bit of the raw power. I think more power than Penis, but he's a welterweight. So Penis is in that middleweight
Mhm.
range. And you look at the guys in that top 15. I think we got to see a little bit more before we start aiming to give him in that realm. Um, I'm looking at that division as well, though, and a lot of those guys are moving up. And you're looking at our boy.
Gautier is a middleweight.
He is a middleweight. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he is a middleweight.
Um, I'm not saying put them against each other, but they have a similar.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna say skill set because I think Pinas is still a little bit more calculated in his approach.
yeah,
Even though we watched Gautier be very, very
mhm,
patient his last
yeah,
fight. Um, but there's guys in that top 15 that are starting to look to make moves to heavier weight classes as they age. The
mhm,
Robert Whitaker is supposed to do a light heavyweight bout in this year at some point. He's supposed to debut at light heavyweight. Paulo Costa is heavier right now and talking about going up to light
mhm,
heavyweight as well. Um, so the top end is going to start clearing out a little bit, which will leave opportunities for you to kind of
yeah,
sneak yourself into those rankings based on who
mhm.
they give you. There's punchable people in that top
There
15.
are punchable people.
Yeah, Marvin Vittori. See, I'm giving
Mhm,
him peace for his first name now because he's so punchable. Is in that weight class. So if you feel like you can crack the granite chin and finally break through, you have two
mhm,
guys on the lower end of the middleweight row. You can start gearing up to see if you could give them that type of fighter
yeah.
to hopefully elevate them quickly, and then some top 15 matches. What says you, Sarah, about this matchup?
Um, Honestly, kinda went pretty much how I expected it to. Now, when they're coming in, they're talking about Wes Schultz's, wrestling experience, and apparently he's got a ton of it, and I thought, "Okay, this is a element of his game I really haven't seen and didn't really know about," because, again, these are 2 first-timers in the UFC, and, so I had seen where he does a lot of the spinning stuff. He'll throw a punch, he'll miss, he'll keep spinning around, he'll get punched, he'll spin around and keep throwing punches or kicks or whatever, and he did a lot of that, and he got beat up. Um, and so Panas having this, win is pretty much what I expected out of this. I don't expect Wes Schultz to be around if he doesn't change his game. I
Yeah,
think he'll be short-lived in the UFC if he doesn't change his game. If he incorporates more of the wrestling style and figures that out a little bit, I think he'll stick around with people at this level. I think the potential is there, but he's still doing that stuff that made me question it. Even when he got his win, I was
hmm
still questioning whether he should be there. So fun fighter to watch. Just I don't think somebody who's going to get the wins. So excited to see where Damian goes. Middleweight's got a lot of good fights for him.
it does.
So
There's
we'll
some
see
guys
where
out
it
there.
goes. We'll see how high his skill level is. For somebody to have that much wrestling experience, getting controlled on the ground by someone who doesn't have quite that much, is at least not as much. It didn't seem like was kind of interesting to see. So if he can control him on the ground, then he's probably going to do quite all right.
He'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Silva versus Francis Marshall, a guy who's been out of the ring for 2 years against a guy who um 1-2 in his last three. I think is
Mm-hmm.
what we had, right? Um, Not much to write home about in this one either.
No.
Francis Marshall got the back, took Eric Silva
Yep.
out of there. Um, in my opinion, I think was having the better of a few exchanges before that. It was very few exchanges.
Yeah. Not a lot.
Um, yeah, sub attempt on his first successful takedown. A little bit of control before that. We call it a night. I mean, I think Francis Marshall looked good. I don't put too much stock into it yet. I need to see him against somebody else because again, Eric Silva being away as long as he was away,
Yeah.
dealing with the injuries he's dealing with, I guess is a semi decent test. It seems like backtracking a little bit because we're like Eric Silva being that big of an underdog. I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
there's a reason. So,
Yeah.
uh,
And
I need to see him with a fighting somebody a little bit more active in this next
yeah.
one.
And I'll say the only thing I noticed about Eric Silva really, I didn't feel like watching him. It didn't seem like he wanted to be there. He was there and he was fighting, of course, he put himself there. But like it just he didn't seem like he had that drive. When when he was about to get that submission, it kind of seemed like he was just like, go ahead and take it. So that's the only thing. I could say, and maybe there's other stuff going on there that I didn't see, but that's kind of what it looked like to me. So,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
Marshall he was all over him. I mean, he was aggressive. So he may have just been overwhelmed in there because Marshall was going after him pretty hard. So
he was. He was.
if that would have
Um,
kept up for a couple of rounds, who knows? But how aggressive he was, he went out and got it done quick.
he did. Um, this next one, I feel bad for the original fighter on this card, Ernesta. Last name pronounced a few different ways, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
stick with what did we decide last pod?
We were saying Kara K because that's what I had seen in her um, previous matches, and they were saying Kara or
Yeah, something wrong
Karasite
with it.
today
Yeah,
or on this one. So um, I don't think any of the people pronouncing it are Lithuanian. So we'll
we'll
stick
stick with
with what
Carrot
we
K for
were.
now. We'll
Yeah.
stick with Carrot K. Ernesta Carrot K gets Regina Taryn on short notice,
Yeah.
and she felt slighted. I came back and saw a video of her post fight reaction at
Hmm.
home. I think it was on Instagram. She's saying like it was in Mexico City, it was in her home country. We felt like we done enough for the win. And I can't tell somebody they're wrong, but I didn't see it that way. I think it was a good fight. I think 29-28 is accurate. The 30-27 seemed a little bit lofty to me. Um, but Taryn was very active. Taryn was having
Hmm.
the better of a lot of exchanges. Her defensive, or I guess her motion in the ring reminded me a little bit of, I think her name is Natalia Silva, the one who like jumps around and a lot of feints.
Hmm.
But but it gives me a more effective version of that. I feel like
Yes.
the
Yeah.
feints come
Definitely.
with a lot more behind them. It's not just feint,
Yeah.
feint, 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 feint for
Hmm.
5 minutes like she did against
Yeah.
Rose. Taryn feints with intention to eventually throw. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Carrie Kay didn't win the fight. She did not, in my eyes. Um, but I do understand her take with the whole home crowd and all that. It's just a tough fight to give someone on 3 days' notice because, like you
It
said,
is.
the there's a lot of accolades with Regina Taryn going into this fight. Like, you didn't just pick up somebody off of like LFA Combat. No offense to LFA Combat,
Yeah.
on short notice and say, "Here, just go fight." This girl with great hands. Yeah, it was a great fight. It was one of the better fights of the night.
Yeah.
Um, and shouts out to Taryn because I think personally the UFC might have a star on their hands, man. Like they were trying to build Macy Barber into something crazy back in the day
Yeah.
about being the youngest champ possibly since John Jones and stuff like that. There were deficiencies in her game, and I'm not saying there's not deficiencies in Taryn's game, but the hands alone at this point in the game at 21, um, yeah, the marketability that
Hmm.
she
Oh,
it could be something special. And again, in women's MMA, where we struggle to find the fighters who keep fights interesting, she might have just built her name off of Kara K's. What is this her debut or
who,
no?
Karake?
Yeah,
No, Karake had been
no, she
around.
had one before this. Yeah, I know she's been in the Dana White Contender Series, but I don't know if she had her UFC debut yet. Yeah, she had
Mhm.
2 fights before that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think she's cuttable. I think Kara K still
Oh, no, yeah.
should have a run. Tough to lose this one on to somebody on three
Mhm.
days notice. But again, I think we'll look back and be like, okay, we understand why that transpired.
Right.
But great win for Taryn.
So, I think it was a great win. It was a phenomenal fight, to be honest with you. Looking through some of these fights, this might have been the best fight. Um,
Yeah,
not
most
I don't
competitive.
know if it was the best fight, but the most competitive fight that I saw. Um, this was probably the most razor thin 30-27 I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Um,
you got it. You got it. 30-27.
um, if it's not I mean, I could see a couple of those rounds going the other way, possibly, depending on the judges you have. But like Taryn was solidly winning the fight, I think,
Mhm.
overall fight. But if you said that, Kara Kay took the second round, I'm not mad at that. If you say she took the third round, I'm not mad at that. First round, I think she got solidly beat. Um, I think that was definitely Taryn. But if you go and you say the second or the third round or the second and the third round,
Mhm.
I would be okay with that. It was such a good fight. But, for Taryn to come in on 3 days' notice and put a win up against somebody as good as Karake, and I'll be honest with you, you might see these two fighting in the future. Um, they
Yeah,
might
it's
fight each
possible.
other again. It was if you say 30-27 Taryn, I'm fine with that. But it was still razor thin because it was razor thin in every round. Um, except that first, I think. I think the first round
Yeah, I think
Taryn
the
came
first
out
was
there,
Terran. Yeah.
but that second and that third round were so close. And Taryn was I kind of felt bad for her because she had done all that to get ready for it, and she looked like she was the more in shape fighter. I don't know how Taryn, and this is not a slight on her at all, but she looked substantially bigger than Karake.
Mhm.
Karake looks like a flyweight because she is. But if you tell me that Taryn is a flyweight, I'm going to say, all right, let's see it because that catch weight I think was
That catch rate gave a little bit of comfort, I think. I think she
yeah.
was able to weigh at
Hmm.
130 is what they made the catch weight, and then she could comfortably um cruise into either, gaining or being very
Yeah.
relaxed
Yeah.
while going up from what the initial weight was supposed to be. Probably
Hmm.
wouldn't have looked as big, but I still think she carries that weight better than Carrie K does in terms of ability to put power behind the shots.
Right.
Um, yeah, she did look quite a
Um,
bit bigger than Carrie K in there.
so it's funny if I say that about a guy, nobody's like anything, but if I say it about a girl, I feel like I have to preface it with not trying to be offensive here. But
I
she
mean,
did
you
look
have
like she
weight
was
bullies in the women's divisions
yeah,
too,
she
but I
she did
wouldn't call
look
her
like
that.
she was much bigger framed than Kara Kay was. So I did
Yeah.
kind of wonder how much that plays into it. But be that as it may, the fight was taken on both sides. Taryn
Yeah.
came in there. She showed that she can hang with one of the better strikers in
Mhm.
that division. Um, I'm not sure that I mean, they're, top 10 is, they're all going to be good, but I feel like Carrot Cake can run with most of them. So, for Taryn to come in and,
Really early
and
in the
win
game
that
too.
fight, very good and very, very closely contested, even though I do agree that Taryn won that fight.
Yeah, I do. Um, very excited to see who they give her next.
Yeah.
Let it not be my girl Carly Judy. So let's wait on that one. Um, but that would be a fun fight.
I think
I
that
can't
would be a
lie.
phenomenal fight for her to get.
Yeah, I think
I
that'd be a
think
fun fight. I think
uh,
it'd be a very big test for both fighters.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but if Taryn looked big against Carrie Cat, I think Taryn will look big against
Yeah.
Judice as well, which
Yeah.
we'll see what kind of problems that could present. Maybe they do make that fight. My phone's
Hey.
been tapped by Dana before.
Yeah.
Um, Javier Reyes versus Douglas Silva, DeAndre. You talked about him being a little bit more durable and Reyes not needing to be that big of a favorite, and that almost reared its head.
Yeah.
Reyes
Yeah.
got caught. Um, Outside of that exchange, though, not much else for Douglas. Um, Reyes cruises for the rest of the round and eventually gets that finish at the end.
Mhm.
Um, Great win, but just like a lot of the fights on this one,
Yeah.
these guys aren't like world beaters that they're testing them against.
No.
They're journeymen or guys that have been around for or been out of the fight game for a couple of years and are coming back to get one.
Yeah.
Um, and just like another fighter on this card, I would say be careful the next time you see them on a card because when they're put against somebody who's more active, a little
Mhm.
bit more calculated, somebody with a little bit better finishing instinct, could be a whole different story. Um, he got the win. I think it's a good win. Um, in that featherweight division, though, there are a lot of tough fighters in that top
Yeah.
15. Um, I don't think we're there yet.
No.
I am ready to see him against somebody who's not Douglas. DeAndrade.
Uh,
What says you?
Now remind me because I think you just said it, and I feel like I remember that Reyes got floored in that, didn't he?
He
Didn't he
got
get hit?
he got floored. They didn't call it a knockdown, which is crazy, right? Or no, yeah, one knockdown.
Yeah.
But Reyes got touched at the beginning.
Yeah. He got the win. This is the guy that I said that I don't think his style will translate. He ends up coming out with uh, a win at the end, and they should have stopped it when they stopped it. I mean, 1 second left, 10 seconds left. It doesn't matter. He's not defending himself. The fight's over.
Exactly.
Um, but um, I s- my jury's still out on him. Great debut for him as far as getting the
Thank
win, but
you.
my jury is definitely still out for him. So, um, wish him the best, but I still don't know that that style translates over very well. So, and it's
We
hard to
got
put
some
my
against some
finger
better
on
talent.
what it is. Maybe it's
Yeah.
just he needs to be a little more accurate and needs to be a little faster. Needs to something about it just is still not there for me.
No, 1,000%. There's some stuff I need to see that I'm not seeing currently.
But it's
Um,
not. There's nothing glaring. That's the thing.
yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's just it's not clean,
Yeah, could be.
is what I'll say. He does allow himself to be in exchanges and get hit. Um, when he was front running, he looked okay. So
Yeah.
I mean, when he was ahead and not getting much return from Douglas, he started stalling a little bit. So I don't know. A lot to be desired. I feel like
Hmm.
when you fight somebody that elevated in age, again,
Yeah.
Douglas wasn't going towards a top 15 fight or anything like that. This is
No.
more of a test to see where Reyes was at. So we'll see more. Just like I got to see more out of this next guy. Um, he had a long layoff, came back, Christian Quinones, and they gave him Chris Moutinho.
Hmm.
And shouts out to Chris Moutinho's coach for trying to do PR. Who I don't remember the fighter. Right, there was a fighter who was in his corner. They both train at the same New England gym, and he's saying, Moutinho showed that he's tough, and
Hmm.
Moutinho shows that he has durability. But tonight he's going to show the skill. He's going to show that he has the tools to win a fight, and it's not just going to be about toughness and how
Yeah.
durable he is. Um, Maybe he showed it backstage because he didn't show it in the octagon.
That warm up was good.
That warm up was very skilled because he went into the octagon and does what Chris Moutinho does. They
Hmm.
talked about how he went to a sports psychologist, and it might be just in his head that he
Hmm.
can't get over the hump. And maybe it's the altitude, but I would say that if I didn't see Chris Moutinho fight the same style of fight um, over and over and over again, you could have put this fight in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I feel like he'd do the same exact thing. Um, just flat foot, head straight ahead, not on a swivel,
Right.
walking forward,
Just
getting
like you called it.
punched. He did that for 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Now, he tried to stumble into a couple takedowns.
Hmm.
Um, like I think it was the beginning of the second or something. Like they said, okay, break, and he throws like an overhand hook and immediately goes into like a shoot, and he was able to wrap him, but then that was it.
Yeah.
And I didn't like if that was the plan, and you had nothing else after that. I don't know. I don't think Chris Moutinho is a UFC fighter, and I'm not saying it to be mean, right?
Right.
I'm not a UFC fighter. He will run rampant with that style on the local scene because when it comes to like heart and just being able to
Oh.
outlast a person, not many people on their day to day who fight the UFC probably as a hobby or are on the come up but are in these lower level uh promotions are going to be willing to take damage and just go or
Yeah.
like do any of the stuff. So Chris Moutinho could have a long career down there because there's not many like him in that regard.
Mm-mm.
But this fight did not do any wonders for his UFC prospects because Quinones
No, that's true.
also didn't look great either. He looked good for like a round and a half.
Mhm.
Everything after that, he seemed to just pack it up because he realized like the person in front of him wasn't presenting much problems, wasn't presenting a threat. So he kind of cruised to the back end, probably off of fatigue, probably off of, not wanting to do anything silly to get himself caught up.
Yeah.
At one point, Moutinho did get on the ground and looked like he was trying for a heel lock or something. Um, wasn't tight enough, but maybe he after that exchange is like, what, let me not put myself in a situation like that again. If we stay on the feet, you don't have anything for me there, so we're just gonna stay on the feet. Um, I guess I don't know if I'd call it good, but a win for Christian Quinones by decision, and we move, man. We got to reevaluate this Moutinho thing. I don't know what to do necessarily for him. He's been a company guy in the short stint that he's had.
Yeah.
Um, helped build the names of a few guys who are on the rise. But I don't think this promotion is for him necessarily. And maybe he could, corner for some people in his gym that are a little bit um more just naturally talented. Um, but yeah, I don't see it. What says you?
Um, you know, I can't really fault Christian Quinones for taking his foot off the gas or, trying to just not do anything stupid. I mean,
Yeah,
sometimes, and I don't like the style personally, um, but sometimes when you're ahead 28-3 in a Super Bowl, you need to run the ball and keep it and not turn the ball over to Tom
yeah,
Brady and let him go, you know?
yeah.
You have to
Chris
do what
Moutinho is Tom Brady.
you well, but I mean, that goes how many times
That's
do
what I
we see that?
learned.
Well,
Yeah,
how
you're
many
right.
times do we see that on a Sunday where a team is just crushing the other team,
Hmm.
and then they start putting everybody back just so that they don't give up the big play, and they
And they
give up
get
the small play, they
gashed.
give up the
Yeah,
small play, they give up the small play until the game is on the line by the end of the game because you've just taken your you've kinda just, um,
taking your foot off the gas a little bit.
you've taken your foot off the gas a little bit.
Hmm.
But in this scenario, like, that's what offenses do sometimes when they just start running the ball. They're running the clock out. And if he's running the clock out, that's a different taking your foot off the gas.
Yeah, that's
But,
true.
if he's running the clock out, I can't be mad at him for it. I don't particularly like that style of fighting. You
Me
probably didn't
neither.
like the last round and a half if you're like me. But he got the win. He preserved his win. On to the next one. You know, keep improving and move on and see if you can't do something with this.
My struggle is if this is the strategy against Chris Moutinho, who again, we talk about running the clock out and being careful. On the feet, you can easily just stand there and outpoint him. You could practice things in the ring from a
Hmm.
striking perspective against Chris. He makes for a very good training partner, I feel
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
because he just presents somebody there who will like walk with his head up, his chin forward, and just give you a target to put shots on, right?
right.
And it got to the point where you're like, "Ugh, I just need to get out of here." Doesn't give me much reason for excitement for your next one.
No,
Granted,
it doesn't.
you looked
Right.
very fatigued. It is in Mexico City.
And
It was
maybe that's it. Maybe he's
it's a
saying, I'm not
battle
going to do
of
anything stupid.
altitude, like you said.
Hmm.
The commentators were on that heavy for this card as well.
Hmm.
Uh I've just watched Chris Moutinho fight,
Yeah.
and watching the back half of your fight against Chris Moutinho doesn't let me go, you know what, Quinones? I could see you being a problem in the bantamweight division. Not yet, at least.
No.
Again, it was a long layoff. Maybe you need a few get right fights.
And I
Those
think
will
he's
be out there.
29, so he's
Yeah,
got a
you
little bit
got
of
time.
time.
But there's some bantamweight killers again
Hmm.
where that's a dangerous game to start practicing cruising against a guy that you
Yeah.
shouldn't. get out of there. Not necessarily by finish. You don't get me wrong. We did say Moutinho's kind of tough to finish,
Yeah. Yeah.
unless you're super super powerful. Um, but you shouldn't be at the back half of the third round, dodging and like running the edge of the cage and like kind of putting your arms out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that, but good win, good win. You get the win at home, right? Um, Next one, I think the fight was great, but the post fight was kind of interesting to me, right? Eileen Perez, Macy Chazon. Macy Chazon, first round, did a great job,
Yeah.
right? Did a great job, controlled the fight on the ground, gave Eileen Perez everything she was looking for. That was it.
Yeah.
Good fight.
I thought after that first round, I thought I was in trouble
Good
with
fight,
my
Macy.
pick.
Yep.
I was like,
Good fight, Macy.
yeah, and I love watching Macy Chiasson fight normally.
Everything after that was Eileen Perez.
Mhm.
She dominated ground exchanges and everything. Now,
Yeah.
where I say the post fight was interesting, she called out Tracy Cortez after the fight.
Is there beef there?
I guess there is because Tracy Cortez is not even. I don't even think she's ranked anymore. Is
Yeah,
she ranked?
she was ranked, I think she's like 7 or 8.
Are they in the same weight class? I don't think so. That's what I heard. They're in different weight classes.
Bro, if there's beef, that weight class doesn't matter.
That is
Was
true.
Cortez there?
I don't
Because
know.
I was fast forwarding, so I didn't see her whole speech afterwards,
Yeah,
so
I don't know. But Perez is angling herself to be, you know, top like two more fights to fighting for a belt potentially. And when I say two more, I mean one and then the title fight. Um, I don't think Tracy Cortez is a move we should be trying to make, but based on your fighting style, I think you beat Tracy Cortez and beat her pretty comfortably. Um, it just seems like an unnecessary step in the game. But if you want
so
to fight just for the
she
beef,
is
then
yeah.
let's do it, I guess. You know what I mean?
Well, I think trying to find Eileen Perez because I
What's
thought Eileen
Cortez?
Perez was
Is Cortez a
Cortez
featherweight?
is a
Because
flyweight. She's
yeah,
a
Cortez is a
ranked number 8.
flyweight. Perez is a bantamweight. So yeah, I don't know if it's because Perez won't be cutting to flyweight anymore. I mean,
Yeah, there she
Cortez
is.
won't be
Yeah,
cutting to
she's
flyweight anymore.
yeah,
But
they are in different weight classes.
yeah,
If Cortez is going up, they're both ranked. No, no, Eileen Perez is 7. She's not 8. So Tracy Cortez is 8 at the weight class down. There's got to be something there.
there has to be something there. 1,000%.
Why call out Tracy Perez?
Cortez.
Yes,
People
that's
are
what I
saying there's
meant.
beef. People are saying there's beef. I am predicting there is as well. But also, if she's that highly ranked at flyweight, and we know she's had issues cutting to flyweight in the past, you know, Cortez was the one that had to cut off the hair, um, to try to get that last pound that one time.
Uh-huh.
Um, Maybe she's planning to go up. Uh, I guess being in Mexico, that could be a fun call out, but nah. Even Macy Barber was like, "That's weird. There
Yeah.
must be beef." So I don't know. I just know the fight that Perez fought on the night was good. Very dominant on the ground, controlled Macy Chazon. But there was another element to this fight that was very interesting.
Uh-huh.
That could have been a very dangerous thing that happened. And when I mean dangerous, I mean like affect the I don't want to say correct outcome of a fight, but I am not a fan of grappling
Uh-huh.
predominant fights. I've made this very clear. I do understand its place in MMA. I do understand what a person who is winning a grappling exchange is. Um, I understand all that. This ref was consistently going, fight, fight. I'm gonna break it up, fight, and he broke up a ground exchange where Perez had gotten the takedown, and it might have been 10 or 15 seconds after the
Yeah,
takedown,
it
and
was
she's still
quick.
working, and she's still doing it. She's not just laying on top. He broke it up. He stood him up. That could have been bad because if Macy Chazon drops her after that with like a
Yeah,
jab or something
yeah,
and flips around after
mhm,
Perez does everything to win that exchange and get her on the ground and, I mean, get top control. And again, she's working. She's not just wasting time. Shouts out Jalton Almeida, right? Like,
mhm,
if he does that and she loses because you get overzealous and you want to see a fight, right? That could have been very bad for the outcome of quote unquote who was
yeah.
supposed to be winning that fight. And they did go back and have a chat with him. It sounds like on the broadcast they
Oh,
said,
did they?
yeah, like after the fight, I guess they corrected the behavior or, said, hey man, like, no, that's not how that works. You're looking for inactivity, not just them getting on the ground, right? Like this is MMA, they're allowed to grapple a little bit. I don't
Mhm.
know if he was like a boxing ref or what, but
Yeah.
um the next fight, which ended up going to the ground, I think I have to look. He was a little bit more concerned with just where the hand placement was, like were there eye pokes coming off of the ground exchange. Um, it wasn't the next one because there was ground exchange, but one person's body exchange placed with standing to the ground. Um, it was the Imanol Rodriguez fight, which we'll get into later. But yeah, he was all against the grapples, almost to the detriment of the fight. So, another
Yeah.
angle of where like
And
the person in there can really affect the outcome of a
yeah,
fight
100%.
without even understanding like the gravity of what he's doing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that was interesting to see in that level fight.
yeah. I did a little bit of this, looking into it. This is not the first time Eileen Perez has called out Cortez.
Mm.
This is the 3rd time after her fight that she has mentioned Cortez in post-fight. They have some sort of a history, um, and Perez elaborated a little bit, saying basically nobody in the bantamweight really wants to fight her. So the time to fight Cortez is now because once she becomes champion, she is not giving her a shot. Um, I don't know, haven't found out exactly where it stems from. I did see a AI thing saying it stemmed from like a weight bullying issue. So I don't know what that was referring to. I haven't seen
Weight
anything
bullying.
on that. Cortez claims that Perez is obsessed with her. He tried to shake her hand when they met backstage. Perez says Cortez is always looking for her to fight her. And then when she calls her out, she's nowhere to be seen. So I
To
don't
me, you
know.
call somebody out 3 times, you do seem obsessed. I can't lie to you.
You do seem a little bit obsessed when you call somebody out 3 times. Maybe she's got it maybe she's got it coming. Maybe she thinks since they were trying to build up Tracy Cortez so much that if she beats Cortez, it'll do something for her career. I don't know. Maybe she's just obsessed with the girl. Uh, who knows? But apparently, this was the 3rd time in a post fight interview she has mentioned Cortez. I think 2 of them were call outs. So, yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, again, if Cortez is going up, it makes sense. I don't personally.
Yeah.
I think
Because they're
Cortez
not even
should
in the same weight class. That's what
no,
is a little confusing about it. But yeah, there is
no.
something there. Um,
And where you're positioned in your career right now, you fight
you don't
somebody
need it.
top five, you beat them, you're fighting for a belt,
Yeah.
Miss Perez. Like, what's going on? Like, hey, if the beef is that palpable, like you're that you need to get that out your system that bad, kudos to you. But
Yeah.
for your career, it just doesn't seem like a good move. You'd win. I think you'd win,
Yeah. I think she does win that fight.
but now what? Like, I
Yeah.
guess just an additional fight in there for the lure. Yes, I beat the person that I've wanted to beat for however long I wanted to beat him. Now we could
Yeah.
go back to our regular scheduled programming and fight somebody in the top 5
Yeah.
and go for a championship fight.
Yeah.
I
The
don't know.
the AI point for conflict context was the feud stems from previous social media exchanges and a reported in-person altercation. Perez has criticized Cortez's professional preparation, including weight cutting issues. You're not even in the same weight class. So yeah, it seems a little bit on the obsessive side on that.
Yeah.
So Cortez could be right, at least having better PR on it anyway. She really hasn't seemed very moved by the call
Yeah.
outs, at
Yeah,
least not
I
in
wouldn't
public.
pay them
So,
any mind. She could be the champion of the bantamweight division, and I'd still go, "Who?" Because, like, what's the point? Like, it's
on the
not a good
flip
fight for
side,
Cortez.
if you take her, you take a top 7 bantamweight and move up with ease.
Yeah, and then I just go looking at the division again like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah.
Get
I mean,
my
you got
get my girls up there who punch, man.
I mean,
Jocelyn Edwards, Carly
yeah,
Judice,
uh,
Regina Taryn now. I'm still a
yeah,
carrot cake guy. Get her up there. Because if you're gonna tell me Tracy Cortez comes in and beats Eileen Perez and takes her spot after how I've seen Tracy Cortez fight the last couple fights,
yeah,
I'm good, brother.
no. But
I'm good.
Imma tell you, she apparently claimed that nobody wants to fight her, but, I mean, yeah, nobody above her wants to go down and fight somebody lower than them. But at the same time, like, do you think they're afraid of you?
Of
I don't
Eileen Perez?
yeah. I mean, I don't think Juliana Peña's afraid of you. I don't think Caitlin
Nah,
Vieira's afraid of you, you know?
Pena is smart. I think Pena knows she's one
Yeah.
injury away from potentially fighting for a belt again.
Mhm.
Why
Yeah,
risk
she's number 1 on the list. There's no way she
why
wants to
risk
fight
it?
Eileen
Yeah,
Perez,
because here's a secret. Juliana Pena is not that good.
but she's gotta win over Nunes.
I know, but she's not that good. Isn't that crazy? Ah, it hurts so bad.
And
It hurts so bad.
not only does she have a win, she called how she was gonna do it and how it was gonna happen,
Yeah,
and it still went that way.
yeah.
I'm still
And I still
baffled
don't
by
think
how
she's
she did
good.
that. I don't think she's bad,
She could beat
but
John Jones. I'm still gonna not think she's good. The way she fights, just oh my gosh, it just looks so bad.
I don't know.
But guess she did it though.
Yeah, she
She's a
did.
champ.
She did.
So I think risking a fight against Eileen Perez, where if it turns into a ground exchange, I guess um there's aim for like Pena being somewhat of a challenge down there, which I guess she could be. The hands though look ridiculous, are better than Perez's probably just
Yeah.
based on who she's been in there with and who she's had to exchange with. Um, but it's not a viable reason for her to go down and take that fight.
No.
Um, and like you said, a lot of that top 6 probably not scared, but what's the point of putting
Right.
yourself in that position to
Yeah, why
risk
risk it?
for Eileen Perez? Because even at 7, she's doing everything to try to be a household name.
Mhm.
She's not really there yet.
No, but I wonder if that's what drives her.
For the Cortez thing, maybe,
Yeah.
but that's just getting sad.
Yeah.
It's get 3 call outs or 3 mentions?
Yeah,
That's getting sad. It's almost as bad as, like, when Michael Chandler was calling out Connor
bro.
over and over, and you wasted 2 years
Connor really did a number.
preparing,
Connor won that fight
waiting.
without ever having to fight it.
He told Chandler, "You'll do as you're told,"
Mhm.
and Chandler did as he was told
Yep.
for years and
Mhm.
never got that big fight,
And 2
and probably will
years
never
didn't
get it.
fight anybody, and that
Nope.
was probably the last 2 decent years. He could
Yeah.
have probably had 4 fights, 5 fights in that time and really.
He could have beat a couple garbage cans in there and made some money.
Mhm. Yep.
No. He was waiting for that Connor fight. And look, the payout from a Connor fight, it's gotta be like generationally changing for guys for it to be this much of a, because like in terms of what it means on your resume now, it's good still, right? It's one of the better resume builders just off of
Yeah.
name. People are gonna look at it immediately and like, oh my gosh, you beat Connor, not realizing like, yeah, Connor's good, but there's other people on a resume that probably bolstered a
Yeah.
little bit more. It's
Yeah.
kind of like an Aldo. It's like adding Aldo to your resume. It kind of validates you a little bit, but you still have some stuff you could have been trying to build in the sport. And maybe Chandler knows himself. Maybe Chandler's
Yeah.
like, bro, I get hit a lot.
Yeah. Maybe
I
I
can
should wait
lose.
wait
I
for
can
this
lose
one and
any. I can lose at
just
any minute.
retire after this one.
Exactly. Like I beat Dan Hooker, right? But like you put me in there against most of these guys, they're gonna hit me, and I'm probably gonna go
Yeah.
down. So like I need this Connor fight to at least keep my name relevant, so I can fight some of these higher level guys.
Yeah.
Because a couple of these higher level guys, and I'm gonna be out of there. And that's kind of how it went down. A couple of those higher level guys, he's been out of there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, tough ways. But yeah, Perez doesn't carry that kind of name value.
No.
Just a lot of risk. I feel like for what? Um, maybe she'll get it. Maybe she'll get that name value some way somehow, but she ain't there yet.
No.
A guy who, if he keeps doing stuff like this, who can build some name value in the middleweight division is Ryan Gondra. First off, Ryan Gondra, way bigger than Pinez.
Yeah.
Both middleweights. Kind of crazy, right? You said, not to put you on the stand, but you said Ryan Gondra
I have some
leaves himself open to get punched, which I did
Mhm.
see an opportunity for that to be the case. Um,
Yeah.
Medina landed nothing,
Nothing.
and that's not because Gondra necessarily wasn't there. I think Gondra did approach it with somewhat of a level of patience. Um, big connection. That's
Yeah.
all it took. Big connection,
Uh,
and Medina was arguing the stoppage. Don't know why. But
um, he didn't know he got floored. I
yeah,
to
he didn't.
hear some of these guys talk about it, um, and from someone who has went out before, like, you don't realize it until not from, like, a flash knockout like a punch, but, like, yeah, but when you awake from it, you wonder how you got where you got because you
How
don't
did you get
remember it,
knocked out?
in a mosh pit. Yeah.
You was mosh
I,
pitting?
yeah,
Where were you mosh pitting at?
in Virginia. Virginia
Okay.
Beach Amphitheater
I didn't know you were
up on
out
the
there
hill.
mosh pitting.
Yep.
You know you can't shoot takedowns in a mosh pit, right? Did you find
No.
out that night that you can't shoot
No,
takedowns in a mosh pit?
my temple actually,
Found a knee?
because right when I went up, somebody hit me, so I shot
Ooh.
across, and my temple went right into some guy's chin, and, I turned around, and I saw the guy hands up falling back into the bouncer because 'cause they're trying to keep everybody up the hill from going down, um, so they get on the bottom side of it, and, so he went out, and then I went out a little bit after that. So when I got up, it was, I was, like, sitting up against a fence, and I was like, I didn't know what happened. So, as far as, like, how I got to the fence, I still can't remember how I ended up by the fence. And, so, yeah, that was fun. So not Urbina, Medina, um,
He
he,
didn't know.
when he got hit and he went down
Yeah.
and he was, when he came to, he's still fighting. So when the ref comes in and stops it, he doesn't know that he went
That
down. When he
happens so
sees it on
often.
the replay,
He'll
when he
know.
sees it, he's gonna know why the ref stopped the fight. But in that
Yeah.
moment, he doesn't know why the ref stopped the fight. And if you hear, Cormier talk about it sometimes and some other people, they're like, they were in the ambulance. They're like,
Usman was in
Usman.
the ambulance. Yeah, when they
Yeah,
said,
he
"Oh
was the one that
no."
and But they told him like 3 times. He had to be told several times that's
Yeah.
what happened because he came to and then he still wasn't with it. And then he came to and he still wasn't with it. So when he finally came to for the last time, then he knew. Um,
When he came to for the last time, it was crazy.
I mean,
When he
once you
re-engaged
get
for
it
the
back, it's
3rd
back.
time. Yeah, man. I got
Yeah.
knocked out too. It wasn't in no mosh pit, but
How'd you get knocked
I
out?
I was, so back home, we play, like, soccer on the street, so we have little ball, 2 little goals set up with, like, shoes or something. You're just kicking around and you're playing, right? So, I don't know if it's the best method for here fences are built out of, like, wood and, wire and stuff like that. In Jamaica, it's a common practice to have concrete fences,
Mhm.
like, just a wall, essentially,
Yeah.
built, and they'll do like decorative concrete patterns on the outside to make it look a little bit different than a house. But they have those built up. So I'm playing and I'm kind of skipping the ball on the edge of what was the field, right? But it's a road.
Mhm.
And I lift up the ball and I go to like run forward and somebody shoulder checks me while I was like in mid move and I slam my head against the side of somebody's wall house.
Oh,
And I open my eyes. And the one thing I remember is I was supposed to be home at like 8 p.m., like when it starts to get
mhm.
dark. Because this is when I was like 12, turning 13. I was supposed to be home at like 8, right? And I looked at my watch or my phone like right before we started that last run of play. And it was like
Mhm.
7:55 or something. It's like, all right, cool. I got probably one more drive and then I'm gonna head out.
Yeah.
I checked my phone after what I thought was like 5 minutes, and it was like 8:03. And I said, I don't think it's been that long. And the guys are like standing over me just looking at me. I'm like, oh, I gotta go home. So they like walked me home. I've never had
Yeah.
that happen where people are like, all right, yeah, let's walk him home. Cause now I realize why they walked me home. Cause when I got home and looked in the mirror, I had a knot like this big on the side of my head also from where I'd hit the wall.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Dad wasn't happy about the knot or that I was late. Um, but
Well,
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I don't know how long I was out. Or what happened, but I do know I moved the ball, I jumped, and then I was looking up at the sky
yeah.
after uh some period of time. And yeah, that was that.
Yep. Mine wasn't like, boom, I'm out. Mine was like,
Yeah.
boom, and then that delayed reaction where it's like, "You're good." "Oh, no, you're not."
Then you went.
And
Ah,
that was
jeez.
my one time as the guy at the concert because 2 sheriffs were I had my arm around 2 sheriffs and they were, like, walking me down to first aid, and I was like I'm looking at people, I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm that guy today.
Yeah, you're that guy.
I'm that guy today."
You're that guy. Yeah, yeah.
That
Well,
was my only time being that
I didn't
guy.
get knocked out after that. I don't
No, I
think.
haven't either.
Yeah, I've played sports and stuff, but I don't think I've gotten that. I've gotten concussed, but not knocked out since then.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man. To make it back to Medina, it's done for Medina.
Yeah,
I'm
I think it
sorry.
is too. I
I'm
think it
sorry.
is
I
too.
love the story. Dana did him a great service to
Mhm.
give him an opportunity because he got into the UFC off of a contender series loss. He
Mm.
just had a great fight. Um, yeah, but he's been one of the Lord's strongest soldiers because they gave him Gautier and they've given him a bunch of these people to go in there with, and then they wonder why he's not winning, and it's like,
Yeah.
man, I wonder why you put a guy to
Yeah.
run into Mack trucks his career, and the Mack truck wins,
Yeah.
and it's tough. You know what I mean? Who knows if he gets another one? I hope he does, and I hope it's against somebody who is a grappler
Yeah.
or is somebody who won't punch him hard in the face too quickly, and it could be an extended fight. And we could get to see what Medina has in terms of a skill set, but they keep giving him these guys that they're punchers and they land, and then that's all they write for Medina, and it's
Yeah.
tough. So,
Yeah.
um,
But I gotta say this, I'll eat my words, Ryan Gondra, he came out there a lot more technical than I thought he would. Now when he started going, He was just letting it fly. He was open to be hit if somebody was there to hit him back.
I
Um,
wouldn't eat your words off a 41-second performance
well, yeah, but he did what they
against
thought he was
Moreno.
gonna do.
He took care of
I
business.
mean, he did what they
He
thought
took
he
care of
was gonna do.
business. There are other people on here who got dropped or were in some dangerous positions, not as the UFC necessarily expected. So you're
He
right.
looked
He took care of
big.
business. He looks massive. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's a middleweight, and Damian Pinas is a middleweight.
Yeah,
That's crazy to me.
maybe you put them against each other. Maybe maybe you throw a Tiba against him,
Give me a Tiba versus Gandra in my veins right now. I
bro.
need a Tiba versus Gandra.
I would watch that.
I would. Oh my
I would
gosh!
stop the
Please.
podcast and walk in there and watch it. I would
Oh,
just
I need
gone.
that. I need that. A Tiba
Yeah,
versus Gandra.
dude.
Gosh.
Every day, I would watch that.
Have you seen that sport where they just like run up to each other and just slap each other on the chest and then they jump off? It's like
No,
in some rural village. Yeah, like the exchanges are hilarious, but they like run really close to each other and they'll just slap each other on the chest a bunch of times and then like jump away. I feel like it's that, but with punches. They just run up
no.
really close and just swing a bunch of times.
But have you seen the apparently in Nigeria, I
Yeah,
saw this where they, like I think they hook their hands together somehow? I'm not sure how they do it, but I don't know if it's, like, boxer's tape or something, so, like, the 2 people are just hooked together, and they just start swinging on each other. Um, Imma have
I
to
think
look
Chris
that up
Moutinho
to
could be a
see
champion in that.
exactly what that is.
Give Chris Moutinho a short notice fight in that
To
promotion,
Durham
and he
Hill.
probably wins.
Yeah,
He probably
you just
wins.
can't get him out of there.
The guy wouldn't be able to get away from Chris Moutinho, and at least then we know he'll hit.
Yeah,
He'd be able to land strikes, and we know Chris ain't going anywhere. He's gonna
no,
be right there.
yeah.
He's used to being in front of you and taking the punches. You're the one not used to it. Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, let me call up Chris Moutinho's management because I think that's the move. We're going to make this man a star. Um, yeah. I, ah. Anyway, Gandra probably does get another fight like this. Realistically, you drop somebody like that, they love to see it. They'll probably give you another opponent they hope you could do that with. But if they could give him a T-bar, I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, dude.
I wouldn't be mad. And I know you once said you wanted a T-bar to fight a grappler. You sound like you don't care about that anymore.
Not if he's fighting Gandra, I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Put
Which
those
give me Gandra by sub potentially. Because he apparently has a ground game, people are
does
saying.
he? See, and
Apparently.
I do still wanna see him against somebody, so if Gandra's got that, maybe Atiba floors him
Element.
one time and he goes into that sub and
And he heel hooks him.
that sub game.
Yeah. I'd be about it. But yeah, great win or great showing in a win. We'll see what he has going forward.
Yeah.
Um, Santiago Luna, he had a great win for a young prospect. Um, Going against Pacheco, who you did bring to light as very durable, very hard to get out of there.
Mhm,
Santiago Luna had the work rate, had the different skill sets that he displayed.
mhm.
Great takedowns, uh, very good movement in there. Control of the ring was flawless in my opinion. Pacheco had one or two moments where he got some shots off on Santiago over the three
Yeah.
rounds, but nothing consequential. He never won a round. 30-27 was decisive and accurate.
Yeah.
And for a younger prospect to be patient in there like that and fight the fight, not like patient, get up points, take rounds off. He was doing everything possible to try to get Pacheco out of there. Pacheco's just that a really, really durable guy. Um, I was impressed with Santiago Luna's performance and how he kind of executed all over those three rounds. I would love to see him against a jump in talent. Um, you know, I'd like to see him again soon, hopefully, because he didn't really take much damage either. What did you notice from the Santiago Luna fight?
Um, S Santiago Luna is a much more, precise striker than I gave him credit for the first time. Um, Pacheco was everything I thought he was gonna be. He was gonna be durable, he was gonna keep coming. Um, but Santiago Luna was very precise in that. Um, he was fast, and he was accurate, and, I don't know that he's gonna have knockout power in that division, but with
Doesn't
the
seem like it.
hands, he's pretty crisp with the hands,
Yeah,
and, at his age, what's he, 21 years old?
I think
21
he's
years
yeah
old,
super young. Yeah.
and he's got a bright future, much brighter than I gave him credit for last week, so I'll take the hit on that. My scouting of him, I wasn't very impressed with past fights. This fight, I was pretty impressed with him. So we'll see what he goes next. Hopefully, this wasn't a one off. Sometimes people have like performances of their lives, where it's like the best performance they have. Um, I don't think that's this for him. I think he's just progressing. And
Yeah.
I saw earlier works, and now he's progressed further. And if he keeps that progression going, watch out. He could be dangerous. Still not sure about his chin, as he got checked in his first fight. Pretty clean. And this is against Pacheco. It's not against the top level in the division, but he's got room to grow before he gets there. And I think
Hmm.
they should give him that space to grow. I don't think he's one where
Rush him
his
necessarily.
young age, you rush him up for, you know, fights that are too big for him. I think you give him his time to grow, and by the time he's 26, I mean, this man's vying for a title if he keeps it up.
No, for
So,
sure. I think you'd be a little bit patient with them and
yeah. Of course,
calculated.
you never know what other killers are gonna come up.
That is true. You have guys who might be building that portfolio of skills, maybe not in the UFC, and then you drop them in, and they have all the tools in the tool belt. It's just about seeing how it stacks up against others, and
Mhm.
they could go on a run, even though you've been there for a while, right?
Yeah,
But yeah,
and
I like the fight.
not to backtrack too much, but that Nigerian boxing is Dembe, and they don't tie their hands
Dembe.
together, or Dambe, Dembe,
D-
Dambe,
yeah,
and, they wrap one hand, that's the hand you hit with. Your other hand is a defensive hand, and you
really.
just swing, so there's, like, a defensive hand, and then the other hand is wrapped, and they just
I'm with it.
yeah.
I'm with it. I'm putting I'm looking up my boy's
Moutinho.
management now. Yeah, let's get Moutinho in there, man. I'm with it. Chris Moutinho for Dembe. We'll start the campaign. Um Imanol is one of those young guys that you said has a future,
Ye
especially at the flyweight division.
yeah.
I'm not gonna make excuses for him, but gets dropped by Kevin Borjas, who has been
Mhm.
somewhat of a party ruiner for some guys that he's gone up against, right?
Yeah.
Uh Presents danger, showed that pretty quickly.
Mhm.
Imanol recovered very well. Now,
Yeah.
I think he was a little bit excited to be fighting in front of, the Mexican fans, and
Mhm.
there's a lot of adrenaline, and he's a very quick guy. He does this thing though that commentators kind of drew attention to, which I was looking at like, look, if you could time that, that doesn't really work how he thinks it's working. Then it's his little feint. He has his
Mhm.
feint he does. He does this.
Mhm. Yeah, I'd noticed he was
He
punching
throws
kinda
this
off to the
little
side
he
some.
throws this little right hand side punch. I don't know if they're gonna coach that out of his game necessarily, because you could do a lot more effective feinting. You want it to be a feint that like, I mean, maybe he's trying to get them to react that way, but
Yeah.
after like the first 3 times,
Mhm.
maybe the aim is for the punch to come down the middle, but it didn't really do much of that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could have been nerves a little bit too, um, to where that feint didn't turn into eventually like a hook or a straight.
Mhm.
Um, but he got into an exchange. He left himself a little bit overly exposed because he got excited that he might be getting the finish there, and got tagged.
Yeah.
Got tagged pretty aggressively. And I say it's a little bit of him being the better prospect. I say it's a little bit of him recovering somewhat. I say it's a little bit of being in Mexico. I say it's a little bit of having the right referee,
Mhm.
because it could have gotten stopped early.
Yes, it
I've
could've.
seen it stopped for a lot less, and that would have been terrible for him just based on how he recovered as well. Got on the mat, dominated on the ground game,
Yeah.
and this was the one where the ref understood, like, you're allowed to fight on the mat in
Yeah.
MMA,
If he'd
and
had
gave
that
him the
other guy, that
opportunity.
might have been over.
Yeah, right? So he was watching for finger pokes on the ground, which was actually pretty effective. He was able to get you know, Imanol's hands to not be, because Imanol was putting his like hand over his
Mhm.
mouth and stuff, which allowed, but
Yeah.
his hands are getting really close, his fingers are getting really close to Borjas's eyes.
Yeah.
And the ref was like, yeah, stop doing that. Which
Yeah.
kudos to the ref for watching that angle of the exchange.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, Imanol Rodriguez was quicker. He's still a
Mhm.
heavy hitter. He eventually
Yeah.
got Borjas out of there with a
Yeah.
very, very strong hook, kind of over onto the temple. Glancing actually didn't catch him clean. Um, and down he went, and then he just pounced and finished him.
Yeah.
I still think Imanol has a good potential career in the flyweight division.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
think at the power and the speed and the grappling that he, showed had me impressed. Now, there are some killers up top.
Mhm.
The top six is full of some guys who
Yeah.
will get you right. You
Yep.
will see what you actually got up there. And maybe it's not time for you to be anywhere close to that range. This is definitely not a Hokit versus Blades type situation. You are
Mhm.
not getting a fight like that off of this. But
Yeah.
I was impressed with what I saw. I don't think we should take much stock in the fact that um, you know, this fight could have been ended early. I think you are the prospect that they say you are.
Mhm.
And I'm excited to see who they give you next.
Yeah.
In a more controlled environment, maybe at the Apex, um, maybe somewhere where you won't be too elevated by the crowd, and we get to see you fight a little bit more calculated. Um, to see if that was just a one off where it's like, oh my, he's in Mexico, you know.
Yeah.
But what says you?
Um, the only thing that concerns me about Eminal moving forward is, like I saw in his Contender Series fight, he gets hit. He's open to
Yeah,
getting
he
hit.
does.
Now, Borjas is an exceptionally strong puncher. Um, he's heavy-handed, and you could tell when he got those shots in, uh, Rodriguez was there was nothing he could do. I mean, he was getting, you know, to see somebody get hit and move a couple of feet sometimes, like, that he's getting hit hard. He's a heavy
Yeah,
hitter. Now, to Eminal's credit, Eminal did everything right once he got hit. He got
he
that
did.
takedown, and he stayed on top, and he recovered. And, Eminal, you know, everything we thought he was gonna be, high pressure fighter, very fast, very quick. Um, so once he did recover and it did go back up when he caught him, he swarmed him. Um, and so Eminal has that ability, to get you out of there. And he can take a punch and recover quick. How many of those is he gonna take over his career? I don't know. So
I wouldn't. Yeah,
he's gotta work on that. That's the one part that concerns me about him. If I were to give him any homework, it would be just work on that defense, head movement. He was keeping his hands up, but,
hmm
but he was still there to be hit. So figure out, keep that head moving, make yourself hard to hit. Um, Maybe don't fight as head forward, although that helps him in his wrestling. So it's kinda, he almost has a his head is very forward when he fights. So maybe that's why it's there to be hit, but figure out a way to not be hit. And he's still young enough to learn that and progress. I don't see too much concern as long as he makes the right moves. Um, but make those right moves and he'll be good. And I think he's a dangerous prospect for a lot of these guys. Um,
he is a very dangerous flyweight.
and he could move up the rankings pretty fast. We'll have to see what his fight IQ is over the next few fights. But he's someone who could make a name for himself, in the same way that Santiago Luna can.
No,
But
for
they're
sure.
two different fighters, and they're in different weight classes, so we'll never see him fight again. So, not much controversy in this fight.
No, I wouldn't say there was much at all. There was a little bit in this next one. I like the
Yeah.
segue. You're turning into Mr. Segways over here. I like it. Um yeah, man, these two are in the same division though. for
Mhm.
what that matters. We could possibly see these two fight each other. But Edgar Chairez versus Felipe Bunez. Now,
Yeah.
I haven't made a practice for rewatching a fight more than twice. This one, I was vehemently on one side of it being somewhat of a robbery, to the point where I was like, if I'm gonna come on here and put my chest out and say this is a clear robbery, I need to watch it from every perspective I can watch it from. So I watched it about 3 times. I watched it
Oh, wow.
live. I watched it again yesterday, like on my break. I ran it back again when I was at home. Before I go, how did you score this fight?
Okay. I did take this as a razor close fight.
Mhm,
I did. Um, it was a after the first round, and I think, Dean Thomas actually said it. Bunez has the ability here to come in and steal this fight, and he's laying back some.
mhm,
I think that ultimately made the difference in the judge's eyes. In my eyes, I think this is one of those that I've said many times before, you can't be mad at the decision after the fight was that close because you fight and you fight to win. If you're trying to outpoint the guy, and this is from my perspective because I don't particularly like point fighters. I think and it's the same reason why I mentioned earlier with the football. I think you keep playing the game that is working for you. You don't take your foot off the gas. You don't do those things because it ultimately puts you in trouble. Um, he took that back so easy in the first round. He's on the back. Those elbows were hurting Chirez. Like, you could
mhm.
tell he wasn't happy he was getting elbowed in his shoulder. People aren't used to getting hit in those little muscles back there and all along the bony part here, and he was just hitting him with those elbows.
Very irritated. Yeah.
And, I feel like if he woulda went for another grappling exchange, that would have solidly given him that fight.
Mhm.
Because I think it was there to be had. Um Maybe it was a one-off, and that's why he didn't. He just happened to find himself in that position, but I don't think so with Bunez because he's actually a good grappler. And I don't know why he chose to stand and trade with him. I think it ultimately lost him the fight, not because he didn't do enough to win, because this is where the controversy comes in. Because I can see you scoring the last 2 rounds for him anyway. But could I see Chirez getting those rounds? I mean, I guess. But it's not one that if I'm his coach, we walk away from slamming clipboards and whatever, saying we got robbed. Because yeah, I mean, you probably did get robbed a little bit, um, maybe a lot bit, but you also didn't do everything you could to win that fight. I think you could have fought a better fight to win that fight.
So, what is the memorable moment from the fight for Edgar Chairez that you think won him the fight? Was it damage?
No,
Was it knockdowns?
no, I
Was
think
it output?
I think it was probably the last 10 seconds
Was it output?
of the
Because it wasn't
fight.
output. So if I tell
Yeah.
you one guy had 3 minutes and 50 seconds of control, granted all in the first round, all on the back against the cage, and that's a 10-9 round. And we
Uh-huh.
go into the second round and they have exchanges. Um and there's not a clear knockdown by Shires. He has some
Mm-mm.
good moments in there,
Yeah, he
but
had
he
some good
gets tagged
moments, but
quite a bit also in the second round. Um and then we sprinkle in the damage aspect of the fight, which one guy is getting tagged enough in the face where he's bleeding profusely from his nose and a little bit by the corner of his eye, and you know, but he's spinning and throwing fun shots and throwing
yeah.
knees and jumps, and maybe is wobbled Bunez maybe twice in the fight. Wobbled, but those are not knockdowns.
Uh-uh.
And then we go to the scorecards. and one fighter has 113 strikes, which I guess a lot of those were the insignificant shoulder ones. But we go 54 to 66 significant strikes, and 3 minutes and 50 seconds of control. And you watch the fight. Now it's a split decision, so you can't really,
Yeah.
But I look at it and I'm like, I don't see. I watched it 3 times.
Yeah.
I don't see the resounding moment where I'm like, Shirez is taking this fight.
Yeah.
Front pressure with not much effectiveness doesn't let
Mhm.
me just give you the fight,
I was gonna
especially when
say
you've been controlled on the back.
he did seem to be controlling where the fight went, whether that was by Bunas being more of a counterpuncher, which I think he is.
Do you think Dominic Reyes beat John Jones?
I think I do. Yeah.
And John Jones was the guy controlling where the fight went.
Yeah.
But in terms of,
I do think if I'm scoring that fight, I score that fight for Reyes.
okay, yeah, and I thought so too. I thought John Jones lost that fight, right? But
Mhm.
there's a lot of elements again. You can't lose the belt that way. John
I don't
Jones was
believe that.
applying the pressure.
But
It's
yeah,
how they say it, depending on who
it
you
is
are,
how they
right?
say it. Yeah.
Depending on who you are, you can't lose the belt that way, right?
Yeah.
I think this is not a similar fight by any means. I'm just saying, like, Shirez presented the pressure, but didn't do enough with it. And then he wore more damage and he got controlled. And in my opinion, he
Yeah.
loses that fight.
So let
And
me ask you a
the
question.
spinning elbow once or the little wobble at the back end of the third round,
Mhm.
I think he lost the third round potentially
Who's that,
because I think he was
Chavez?
just getting, yeah.
Yeah,
But they
possibly.
don't, I don't know. They didn't see it that way. I thought he lost the third and the first, and the second was razor thin.
Yeah. I do think the second and third rounds were both razor thin, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. But
if you're a judge and you score it for Chires, I mean, maybe, but let me ask you a question because I have not dug into and you had me watch this fight again, and I did go back and watch it. Um, and I think I saw a good bit of what you saw there. Um, what were the significant strikes in the second and third round?
I'd have to get that broken down. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the
Because
UFC website breaks it down by round, but I do know in the first round, Shiraz's output was practically zero, so maybe that's why. Because for him to catch back up in that length of time, you know. But realistically,
okay,
the significant
so let's
strikes from
see.
round one should be close to zero for uh
All right.
Bunez too.
So let me show round one total strikes 64 by Bunez to 6 by Chires.
Mm.
No takedowns.
How many significant strikes?
Significant strikes was 5-4 in favor of Bunez.
Okay.
Round two, total strikes and total significant strikes. Apparently, they took all of them as significant strikes. 21 for Chires, 20 for Bunez. No takedowns, no sub attempts. Got it. No knockdowns. Okay. Round three was 42 total strikes for Chires, 29 for Bunez, and significant strikes was 41-29. Um, one takedown for Bunez, but he was outstruck in the last one, 42-29. So, and some of those came in that last flurry that they had.
Yeah.
So if you're taking it round by round, that first round was Bunez. The second round was, as we said, razor thin, only one punch difference between the two. And the third round was 42-29 on the strikes. But
But there's a
Bunez got a
takedown.
takedown.
How much does that count for?
I think that the deciding factor in that, when you come in and you say, well, there's a takedown, then this guy had more total strikes. Now you're looking at who controls the ring, who's pushing the pace, how much damage is done, and fights like
That last
that.
one.
Yeah, how much
That
damage
last
is
one.
done. And so that's
That's
why when
why
you leave it in
we
the
saw
judge's
Zachary Reese
hands,
lose, didn't
from
he?
my perspective, I'm saying close fight, but you can't be mad because it got left in the judge's hands. You never know how they're gonna do it. Like, I mean, you can be mad, but it's, not gonna really make a difference. Like, that's the way the fight went, and you didn't get the finish. You didn't get the sub, you didn't get the knockout. So, next time, maybe try to grapple more because you had him in that department easily, and for some reason, you just let that part of your game just fly out the window in rounds 2 and 3. So, maybe that's your path to victory, and you saw it in round 1, but you just couldn't, you just couldn't execute it or didn't execute it in rounds 2 and 3. So that would be where I would look at ways to improve.
Okay, you're back. What did you
Yeah.
say when you said for the
Oh, did
judges?
I cut out during all that time?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I mean, it probably recorded it on your side, but just to remind me where you're at.
Just to remind you where I'm at. So, you you know, I left off with the damage thing probably. Um,
Yeah.
you you know, you leave it in the judge's hands. You didn't get a takedown, you didn't get a submission, you didn't get a knockout. It's a
Yeah.
razor close fight.
Mhm.
Um, the judges, you just can't predict how they're gonna judge a fight. You can
Mhm.
do everything by MMA rules, and they still might not judge it by that. So, why you left your grappling game in round 1 and didn't take it with you into 2 and 3, that's gonna be probably the part I would focus on the most, is to how can I incorporate that because I didn't. I didn't execute on it the 2nd and 3rd round, really. You had the one takedown
Mhm.
in the 3rd round, but where he lost the fight was he left a fight with a fighter, I believe, who is from Mexico
Yep.
in this one? Yeah,
Yep.
in Mexico City, with
Mhm.
a home crowd, and you left
Mhm.
your grappling, that worked fabulously in the 1st round, and you left it behind for rounds 2 and 3, and that's the way it was scored. Do I think it's fair? No, I don't. I don't think when 2 champions fight, you have to win by a very large margin. I think the winner is the winner. That's in reality not the way it always works out. And so Bunez should not be punished by the UFC with a drop in competition. I think he should
No,
get another fight with just as high a competition because the argument can be made that he won this fight.
they'll give him Imanol, and then Imanol will probably make a very big statement against him
Oh,
because, like, he's a great grappler. Don't get me wrong, but Edgar didn't seem to be moving as
yeah.
expected in there, and I don't know
And
if it was the work on the shoulders that really like rocked how he approaches those exchanges,
yeah,
but he's supposed to be an electric striker, and I didn't see the full extent of that in
I
that
think
fight.
honestly, I could see there's some things where you can see like that low calf kick didn't exist in MMA 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And now everybody's doing it. If you're not
Yep.
doing it, like you're missing out.
Yeah.
Um, but those elbows to the upper part of the back and the shoulder,
Mhm.
whenever you get back control, I would not be surprised to see people start throwing elbows on their shoulders
To wear
because
those wear those arms out.
I imagine that it's hard to keep your arms up when the backs and the tops of your shoulders have just been hit with a pointed elbow like that.
Mhm.
And then even to throw punches, like I imagine that takes a toll on somebody. And Chirez was not the same fighter he normally is in rounds 2 and 3. You can chalk that up to altitude, or you can chalk it up to him carrying him on his back for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But whatever it was, it worked. And I don't know why Bunez didn't go back to the grappling on a large scale, but I think that's his spot where he could have put a exclamation point on that fight.
Exactly.
So,
So,
but
I don't
yeah, I
know.
am with you. I'm a little baffled by that because I do think while you could give it to Chirez, I would think the larger majority of people watching that fight would give it to Bunez.
We go back a week to the Zachary Reese one, and I thought Zachary
Hmm.
Reese did what he needed to do, but wore a lot more damage. And I could take the argument that based on the damage done, I didn't agree, but based on the damage done, you're gonna give Michelle Pereira that fight. I
Mhm.
didn't agree, but if we're gonna have some
Yeah.
level of consistency, we're like, okay, you want to fight because the person's beat up, sure, right? I talked about, I think it was a couple weeks before that. Um, I don't know if it was a flyweight matchup, but a fighter, I think it was Matsumoto, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was
Mhm.
Matsumoto. Whoever he fought, he took on some damage. I think he fought one of the
Yeah.
brothers, right?
Yeah.
Basharat. Yeah,
Mhm.
he took on some damage early in the fight, but I thought he had the higher output, the higher impact throughout the rest of the fight. But because of the damage, especially in that early round, anything that was done was amplified because of that damage. Basharat was able to make it out with the win. Not saying he didn't deserve the win, but I could see it based on damage. I don't know. Yes,
Yeah.
it's in Mexico. It didn't look like a Shirez win to me. You could talk to me about how you're giving it to Shirez, but at
Right.
that point, you're giving it to Shirez. If you go back and I explain how Bunez won the fight, I feel like I
Oh,
have
yeah.
more angles to do
Yeah.
that
I agree with that.
than how he
I
lost
agree
the
with that.
fight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is what it is. We chalk it up to the game. We move on to the next one where we didn't have to go to the judges. Um, we come on here and we say King Green is out of his depths, and Daniel Zellhuber, who they've given 3 straight fights now against guys that he's supposed to get out of there to help build his star. He's called the Golden Boy. That is his nickname. This might be a couple things. I've heard people talk about the weight cut, and at 6'4", he's a little bit too big to get down to lightweight. That might
That
be true.
is so tall.
That is very tall, right? Um, some say the taller they are, the harder they fall. That's what some say. Um, I'm starting to agree with that some because man, King Green, he went in there, walked in with the bravado a little bit, got into
Mhm.
those exchanges, but I think he realized early that when you get into these exchanges with Zell Huber, he's not protecting his face very much,
No.
and he's not getting out the way, and he's not
Right.
evasive, and the punches he's throwing at you aren't as accurate as people were hyping it up to be.
Mhm.
I'm people, right? Um, and he leans in with his face when he goes in these exchanges.
Mhm.
Everything is, again, this like cockback style where it's like throwing haymakers, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm not a fighter, but I feel like at this level of the game, that should be coached out of your game a little bit.
Mhm.
I figured Zellhuber probably wouldn't have gotten a finish. He would know that he needs a win and fight a smart enough fight to
Yeah.
point fight his way out of there. Um, he's he's 6'1". He's 6'1", not 6'4".
I was gonna
Um,
say, like, are you telling me that him and John Jones are the same height? That'd be
he's
crazy.
6'1". That'd be
I could
crazy.
see it. I knew a guy that was 6'8" and weighed like 155 pounds. So, like,
There was a taller guy who was making like feather earlier in the or bantam earlier this year. Woodson or whatever his name is. It's really tall dude.
yeah.
Um, Dale Huber wasn't in there to win this by decision, and kudos to him. Maybe it was just the again the atmosphere and wanting to put on a
Yeah.
show and get back on track, and after 2 bad losses, King Green put him out, and
Yeah.
without a doubt put him out. There was no early stoppage. There was nothing to it. And people are back on the King Green train, and I can't say yay or nay, right? I think this is more of an indictment on Daniel Zellhuber, but
Mhm.
when you come out and you perform like that in his home country
Mhm.
and get him out of there, I understand why people would be back on the King Green train a little bit.
Yeah.
Not I. I think Zellhuber, the Golden Boy, we need to reevaluate some things. I'm not sure if we necessarily cut him. I'm hearing people say cut him. People have been cut for less. Um, I think he needs to go up, and I think he needs to lean into the style of fighter he might be, which is a length and control and you know let's get activity
Mhm.
and get out of each round. I
Yeah.
don't think you're going to be out here dropping folks, getting, spectacular finishes. If you're
Right.
looking to have a long career, um, you definitely need to go up in weight, I think, because you look pretty drained
Mhm.
at the weigh-ins a little bit, and you're 6'1", but you're pretty tall 6'1",
Yeah.
and your chin's been tested a couple times now. You haven't necessarily got knocked out, but you've been dropped a
Mhm.
couple times now. So I don't know. They liken him in terms of like fighting stance and style, and height a little bit to a Wonder Boy.
Mhm.
He
Yeah,
doesn't
'cause
pack the same level punch,
no,
and he doesn't have the same level of precision, and he doesn't have the defense.
I could
Um,
see because they're the structure of the way their bodies are built, but their
yeah,
fighting styles are completely different. They might
yeah,
look like they are because they're long and they're,
yeah,
both
lengthy and yeah,
strikers, but that karate style is completely different than Zell Huber's kind of
yeah, like
kickboxing
freestyle or
style.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I stayed away from this fight as a dabbling man because I couldn't rightfully see me putting even a stick of gum worth of money on Zellhuber and what I've seen, right? Yes, I would say Michael Johnson is having a little bit of a renaissance, but that's still Michael Johnson
Yeah.
in 2025, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't rightfully put anything on him to do anything in there. And I definitely wasn't gonna put money on King Green either. I should
Yeah.
have. Apparently, I should have. Him to finish him was plus 1,000.
I mean,
That
yeah.
would have been pretty nice. A dollar to win like $100 would have been pretty nice. But um, I digress. Good win for King Green. He probably gets unfortunately elevated back into the realms of guys who they're trying to hype up again. They gave him Pimblet, they gave him Ruffy.
Yeah,
Gosh,
I
man,
think that's his spot.
they're gonna give him somebody like that again, and
And
I
I
don't
think
see it going well again. So
I mean, maybe I think this is the place that Bobby Green lives in right now. Sorry, King Green. And he's gonna be testing these young guys, and he's gonna expose them. Um,
or give him the stamp of approval by
yeah,
laying down on the mat after they hit him.
I mean, he this
There's not
fight
really a better stamp of approval right now.
kinda went how we in one of 2 ways we said it could go last week. When we were talking about this, we talked about Zoe Huber to be the taller, longer fighter who's
Hmm.
gonna use his length
Hmm.
and keep him at bay, but if they got into a firefight, it's not out of the realm of the possibilities for King Green to put him down, and
Hmm.
that's what happened. Now, I had a little bit of an interesting take on this because I rewound this probably 10 times to watch it, and I am convinced
Oh
that the
gosh.
turning point in this fight happened when
Hmm.
Bobby Green got that first takedown.
King
Because
Green.
though Huber, see King Green, when King Green got that first takedown, so Huber had to account for that. And I don't think he was at first. And King Green did it a couple of times. But on that first takedown, I think it happens. I rewound it enough at about 32, 33 seconds.
Hmm.
I'm convinced that King Green slipped and went into a takedown. I don't think his intention was to shoot a takedown. If you go
Okay.
back and you watch the first 30 seconds of that fight, it looks to me, he might argue. And if he tells me he did it on purpose, I can't deny the man. But I'm convinced, having watched it about 10 times, that he slipped going into that and he got the takedown anyway. He landed in the perfect
Despite,
position
yeah.
and got it. And I think that possibly changed it. Now, it was good for him. I mean, he did everything he should have, ended
Yeah,
up in
for
a good
sure.
spot, you know, put him down. But I think that was a slip. And I think that was a turning point in the fight. And it wasn't a long fight. So, not much to turn. But
Yes.
he was backing up to the fence. So Huber was backing him up. And you watch that first 30 seconds. And I think that first takedown put Zell Huber on notice that he didn't actually know what was going to happen in this fight. And I think it came off
Hmm.
of a slip. And that's capitalizing on a whoopsie and taking advantage of it. And that's what he did.
Now you got him out of there, man. It don't matter
So
how. Slip or no slip. You're right. He took advantage of A presumed whoopsie.
Yeah. If you
Yeah.
haven't seen it, go
I'm gonna have
watch
to go
because
back and see if it was.
when I
Yeah.
saw it, I was like, "Man, he got a takedown, that was good." And then I was watching it back last night, I was like, "No, he slipped."
He got it
Watched
though.
it back,
Still
watched it
good.
back, and I am
Still good.
convinced that that is what happened. I'd like to hear
Still
his
good.
take on it because 'cause I'd like to hear what he was thinking when that happened, when he got that
Bobby Green
takedown. I wonder if
sometimes hops
anybody
on a
will ask him.
pod. I hope so. Sometimes
Yeah.
Bobby Green hopped on a pod with Terrence McKinney, and guess who else is on that pod? It's Terrence
Who's that?
McKinney. I don't remember the other host, but there's a third host, Cedric Damas. He's
Really?
podcasting now. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So they might ask him,
Interesting.
and I would like to see how that
Yeah.
went.
I bet
Um,
you uh, I bet you that would be fun with, at least the first 2. I don't know about, Demas. I've never really heard him talk very much, but I bet you the first 2 would be fun to fun to watch a podcast with.
I know for sure. I'd be down. I might see what they got going on over there. I
Yeah.
know they did their fight picks on there too. They had a graphic of them doing their fight picks,
Oh, really?
and yeah,
For this
Dumas
card that he's on?
King Green. Yeah, not well. Green wasn't a part of the picks, but
Oh, okay.
uh, yeah. And Bobby Green and Terrence. Well, Bobby Green was picked by Terrence McKinney and Dumas. So you know they believed in their boy. He took care of
Yeah, they
business.
did.
I think a couple of them also took Marlon Vera though. So speaking of,
Speaking of Marlon
I've
Vera,
never. It's been rare to have somebody red to the point of uh exactly how the fight went, as you did with how Marlon Vera was going to lose this fight. And I know it wasn't really like rocket science necessarily, but to have it down to almost a T, the inactivity, um, the waiting back, you know, the potential activity at the back end of the third to get again a decision loss as you expected to be this sharp about it. I feel like is unusual, and you were sharp about it. You knew how he was going to lose this fight, and he lost it almost in that exact fashion. Um, I don't have much to add for this one. I'm not a fan of David Martinez's jump around and extremely active and speed in and out kind of fighting technique. It works. Um, and
now
that
that's
altitude is
kinda
starting to
like
wear on
the
him.
you mentioned the girl earlier who was always
Natalia
bouncing
Silva.
around.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's
Yeah,
very similar to this, except he's
it
stolen
is.
a lot more.
He's throwing two. He's throwing two. And I agree with some people that he might have been able to get Marlon Vera out of there with this kind of awkward fighting style if it wasn't wearing on him as much physically.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
I agree that it
possibly.
could have been he could have potentially given Marlon more trouble.
Mhm.
Um, but at the same breath, I feel like we run into the same things again. Marlon kind of has his foot on the brakes the entire fight and just gives a little bit at a time. And
Mhm.
then in that last 30 seconds, he remembers, oh, yeah, I'm Marlon Vera. And he puts his foot on the
Yeah.
gas and has a moment. And it's not enough
Yeah.
to take a fight away from somebody. Um, I don't have any other takes for Marlon Vera. I think David Martinez is going to get a jump in competition. Congrats to him.
Mhm.
But where do you go for Marlon Vera?
Um, I don't really know. Um, h he's in a division that you have to be very active as of a fighter, and he's very good in multiple facets of the game, enough to be a top 10 fighter. But if you're gonna be a top 10 fighter and get the championship, you
Mm-hmm.
have to take it to another level. And the reason I was so down on him winning this fight was because after he lost that last fight, Um, he, or I guess a couple fights ago, um, he lost to Figueroa, and then
Mhm.
he lost to Zahabi,
Mhm.
and it was his inactivity that I think caused the losses, but
I
also
agree.
kept him in the fights. I mean, it's one thing to have really good defense and be really good about not getting hit, but you have to put that offense on him. And he didn't seem to learn from one fight to the other what he needed to do, or at least he didn't execute it. So, are you learning in camp? If you are, good. Just go back and try another way. You just got to go. You just got to keep trying different things until they work. Maybe what
I
you
agree.
tried just didn't work. But now, after seeing it in two fights in a row, okay, well, now if you're trying things to make yourself more active and to make yourself more effective, then keep trying things till they work. Maybe get some outside help, maybe do something else. I don't know how he runs his camps or anything like that. But if you're going to compete to this level with this level of fighter, you have to up that level of effectiveness. Um, because your
I agree.
defense is there, your ability to hit your all your technical stuff is there, but there's something that's keeping you from. I don't know if you've got a governor on yourself, just keeping you down at a certain level. Maybe it's just a mental thing. You have to break through that. Skill for skill, he's right up there with the best in
I
the
was gonna
world.
say he's one of the ones, but
But
we
for
don't get to
some
see that.
reason, the inactivity is putting you in these close fights that is not you're not able to break through to that top level. Um, and so gotta figure a way. And if you're trying to break through that, good. Keep trying.
Mhm.
Whatever you've tried has not worked so far. So just keep at it from different angles. Maybe get some outside help. Maybe do something like that. I'm not saying abandon your camp, but just like maybe get a sports psychologist. Maybe you know, go to a few different camps and just see how they do things and see if there's something you can take from it. But if
Take a break.
you're not doing those things,
Take a break
then
potentially.
maybe you're just going to be fighting 10 to 15. But if you're not trying to improve, you're going to have trouble moving forward in the UFC. You're not going to keep getting high level fights like that. So that would be my take on that. He didn't improve as far as that goes. For whatever reason. So if he keeps that low output, if he keeps fighting that style, I think you're going to keep seeing him drop in the rankings because as we saw on this card, these young guys coming up are killers.
Mhm.
And I think we're finally seeing, they talked about the evolution of MMA and you've seen it.
Mhm.
These young guys are on a different level. They're good sooner. And I think that's the difference because it used to be, guys would start this in their 20s, 30s, whatever. They'd get in there if they had a good wrestling background or a good Thai boxing background or whatever, they could get in there and they could compete. Now people started getting into it in their lower 20s and then it kind of took it
Teens.
up.
Yeah.
And now they're getting into it as kids.
Mhm.
And so some of these guys have been training for 10 years and they're 21 years old. They've been training as long as you have. They're younger, they're faster, you know. So you're not getting any younger. You got to figure a way to up your game, or you're going to keep dropping in the rankings.
I have a fight for him.
Who's that?
Marcus McGee.
Why would you do that to him? I think Marcus McGee tears him up. I think he tears him to shreds. I don't even think
He's a
it's a
skilled
close fight.
fighter. Marcus McGee's gonna apply that pressure, and he's not gonna really bounce back and forth. He'll stand in there and bang with him. I think that's why I'm giving him that type of fight. I think Marcus McGee wins it. I'm just saying, like, if you're really Cheeto and you want an opportunity to potentially, like, show him what you got again,
Yeah,
it's somebody who's gonna stay in front of you. You're not gonna have to chase necessarily. Not saying Zahabi was somebody he had to chase, but, um,
yeah,
Yeah, I think Marcus McGill's sitting there for the punches, for the heavy punches as well. Again, I got Marcus McGee winning it, but
I
you know,
mean, here's the thing. The reality of it is I think he can beat some of these guys. Like, I think he can beat Ayman Zahabi. I think he could possibly give Mario Bautista troubles in some areas. Not that he would necessarily win, but he could give him troubles in some
mhm.
areas. I think he could beat Peyton Talbot given the
Yeah,
right
I
day.
think yeah,
Uh,
yeah, but I think
Vinicius
Peyton's a tough one to
Oliveira.
give him to.
He might be able to beat Vinicius Oliveira. I think he could take Rob Font. So, like, the people below him, I think he's still better than them. Like,
Yeah,
he's a legit top 10 talent. He's just gotta find a way to put foot on that gas. However
yeah,
he's gotta do it, he's just gotta find a way to do it.
yeah. Foot on the gas is necessary. Foot on
Whether
the
that's
gas. I have a guy
sheer
who can help him
effort.
with that.
Do what?
I have a guy who can help him put his foot on the gas.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Who you got?
join that camp,
What
that
camp?
Kavanagh camp, man.
Bro, if he joined Kavanaugh's camp, whew, with his skill,
I yeah.
throwing at that pace, man,
If he could pace like that, yeah.
whatever they're doing, that's something
Give
special because
Cheetah a little movement.
Kavanaugh showed everybody that he's there.
Yeah, yeah.
He made
It's
Ilya
crazy.
Taporia look real smart
Yeah, he does.
because
He
Ilya
does.
Taporia called him out before he got there, and he said, "This guy is going to be a problem for the division."
Yeah, he says he's gonna be kind of that guy, which
And he
I
is.
have a couple takes on that, but um, I guess the stamp of approval in that division is getting KO'd by Charles Johnson. That's how you know that you're ready to move on and be one of those ones, is to get in there with him and have him kind of knight you, right? But Kavanaugh goes in on super short notice, goes in against Brandon Moreno. Now, what I'm learning is Charles Johnson might be the unintended knight or king of that division. If you get graced by him, if you get knocked out by him, you go on to do very great things. He's not allowed to do the great things, but he'll lead you to the great things. What's the name of that enemy in the Marvel movies? I don't know if you watched the Marvel movie, but he's like the red face guy, and he leads him to this cliff because he brings you to like the the powers he can't possess. Right? He's
um,
like he walks you up the mountain, and you have to like make a sacrifice up there, but he's not allowed to possess the power, so he just leads you there. That's Charles Johnson.
yeah.
Um, he led Van to success.
Mhm.
And it looks like he's about to lead Kavanaugh to success because
Could you imagine Kavanaugh Van?
I could.
And the
Unfortunately,
fact
I feel
that
like it'll be Kavanaugh Tatsura potentially as well. But
could be, yeah.
yeah,
And the fact that we're talking about this after that one jumping competition
I know.
just shows you how
Yeah,
impressive this
which
was.
Brandon Moreno is also coming off a knockout loss. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
To Tetsuya Taira, and this was supposed to be his get right in Mexico, and he did not prepare for Kavanaugh. So I
Mm-mm.
also want to put that out there. Shouts out to him for even still going along
Yeah.
with this, being a company man as usual. Probably saying, "Okay, that guy just got knocked out. Cool. So did I. So let's
Mhm.
see. You know,
Yeah.
let's see who has it." There was a clear speed advantage in
Mhm.
there. I love Brandon Moreno, but there was a clear speed advantage in there.
Yeah.
Moreno had a lot of heart. I think first round, I probably give first round to uh Kavanaugh, but it was close. Second round was clearly Kavanaugh because he
Mhm.
came close to stopping Moreno in the second round. I'd say Moreno recovered very well in the third round. Fourth round, Kavanaugh. Fifth round, Kavanaugh. That's how I saw the fight. Um, I I, I really have no words necessarily for what transpired,
Mhm.
other than obviously we gotta give Kavanaugh somebody even better now.
Yeah.
off of off of a knockout loss to do what he did on that short of notice against Moreno in a 5-round fight. high altitude, still fighting his style of fight.
Yeah.
We got to put him back in the mix. Um, and Moreno, where are we? Because I don't want to say he's like done either. Because Tetsura is fighting for a belt, and Kavanagh was being heralded as like the guy before he got
Yeah.
knocked out by Charles Johnson. He was being heralded as like the guy coming up. Also, he
Yeah.
had a little bit of a step back, but now he's reminding people why they thought of him the way they thought of him. So,
Mhm.
um, I don't know if it's necessarily an indictment on Moreno per se, but it's hard to not take it as that. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
what do you see? What do you see about this? I know this is one of your first like full interactions with Kavanaugh.
It is.
How do you feel about it?
Okay. I like Brandon Moreno. Um,
Yeah,
he's super tough. He's super durable. He's going to show up to fight. He might not win them all, but he's going to show up to fight. He's going to be in every fight he was in. And to his credit, I would have even given him the fourth round, I think. I could have seen it being,
yeah,
but, I could have seen it being close enough for that. Um, but, he's in the fight with most people in this division, even the people ranked higher than him. If this fight is at sea level, maybe it's a different fight. Kavanaugh might take all 5 rounds, no problem. Um, but
might
then
finish.
again, Moreno might have a little more for him. But Moreno was there for about a month. Moreno set up his camp and was training for a month in Mexico City. He was not training for Kavanaugh, but he was training for a fight for a
Hmm.
month in Mexico City. So um, Kavanaugh fought a very smart fight. He started working on the calves really early. Moreno's calves were bruised up early in that fight, and it really took a toll in those last few rounds.
Yeah,
So Brandon Moreno, I think, can still compete with the top tier in the division. I don't think this is the same way you're looking at it, like you're looking at, say, a Marlon Vera.
hmm
Um, and not just because Moreno's held the title and fought in so many title fights, that does put him at a level higher. But because he's still skilled with all those things, I think he probably needs to take a little bit more time off. He's been fighting pretty regularly. Take some time off, get your body right,
heal and train.
heal and train, and come back. And I think you've still got some really good fights in this. Um, Maybe you put him Amir Albazi, um,
Yeah,
Alex
he beat him already
Perez.
though.
Yeah, but put him against somebody like that and see where you're at with him. But give him kind
I
of
like the Perez fight.
let him heal and train, and then give him a fight to see, like, are you going to move up? Did that work, or are you kind of on your way down? Because he is 32 now, so he used to be the
He
young
is
gun,
getting out. Yeah.
and now he's not the young gun. So he's kind of on that. When you're at that weight with
Hmm.
guys that are that fast, and that energetic, like in the upper weights, you might consider 32 prime. You would consider it young for a heavyweight, probably.
Hmm.
But when you're at flyweight and they're moving that fast, you're starting to slide down that mountain. Um, and so give them a little bit of time off to heal and get back. Maybe you make another run at it. I could see it. Um, but for Kavanaugh to come in on, was it 3 weeks or 4 weeks notice? Like 4 weeks notice, I think. For But for him to come in there,
Yeah, it
fight
was
at
like
that
I think it's
altitude,
about. I think it's lower than 3 weeks.
was it?
But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
go in
think it is.
there,
I don't remember. Yeah.
fight at that altitude. Like the fourth and fifth rounds were his slowest rounds, which is to be
Yes.
expected in most fights, but you're fighting in Mexico City.
Hmm.
So I think a 4 and 5 round fight for him is no problem. He can do that. Um,
I think you can too.
Now I'd like to see him against, somebody like a Pantoja who's going to have a super good ground game. I don't know how good his ground game is, but if I want to see him tested, I'd like to see it there. If you want to see a fun fight with hands, Brandon Royval is right there.
Manel
Um,
Cup.
Manel Kopp is right there. Um, if you want to
Most of the
see,
top six, honestly.
yeah, I mean, any of those guys are going to be good fights for him. And they have
Hmm.
him now ranked at number
Six.
6. So he took Moreno's place in the rankings, which is rightfully so. Who's got a fight above him? Is there anybody not scheduled? But all those guys are looking for a title, you
Yeah.
know? Um,
Dangerous fight to take too.
Horiguchi, um,
Mm. If I'm
he's looking
Horiguchi, I'm
for
not
a
taking that
title,
fight.
huh?
If I'm Horiguchi, I'm not taking that fight. How many people do you want me to beat up close to the top
Yeah.
five or stuff before I get a title shot? I'm not taking that fight.
I mean, the next person, unfortunately, that I think that's above you that you could take is Brandon Royval.
Royval.
He's the
Poor
only
guy.
one with a fight not lined up that has lost. So
Poor guy.
Kopp doesn't have a fight lined up. Horiguchi doesn't have a fight lined up, but they both won their last fight and we're calling for a title
Mhm.
shot.
The
Um,
worst case scenario is those two fight each other.
yeah, there's not a step back for either one of them.
No.
Although you could argue Manel Kopp taking a step back, but um, the title fight's already been made and you're not in it.
Yeah.
So if you want one, it's against, you already got a person above you. So the only person above you who doesn't have a fight, who lost his last fight, is Royval. I think that's the fight you make is Royval Kavanagh. Sorry, Royval. That's
I'm
gonna be
sorry,
a
brother.
that's gonna be a battle. Now I'm not
He's so
saying he
bad.
can't win, but it is gonna be a battle.
Yeah.
Um, and even if you win, the damage you take to win that fight is gonna be hard on your career, I think. So that kind of sucks to be in Royval's position, you know?
It does. It does. But somebody has to play that role, unfortunately, for better or
Yeah,
worse. Like
yeah, it
it's
does.
just
I mean, the only other person I could see, and don't laugh at this, because I know you're gonna laugh at this, because you probably should laugh at this.
oh gosh.
If everything goes well, but you're a little hesitant to jump right back into a title shot, Alexander Pantoja
I'm
could
not
want to
gonna laugh at it.
fight to get himself ready for a title fight comeback. It,
The division moves on really fast, man,
it
and
does.
he might believe that he should just get that ran back, and a lot of people might believe he should just get that ran back just based on how he held the belt. But since he's been gone, all these guys have made moments and pretty much improved on their stock.
Hmm.
And the last thing we saw from you is being injured.
Yeah.
So it's not right that he would have to prove himself one more time before he gets his belt back
Yeah.
or try to
No.
fight to get his belt back.
Yeah.
It's not out of the realm of possibility that he has to do that. Um, I think he would feel some type of way about it. I think a lot of fighters would feel some type of way about it.
Yeah.
But there's also some fighters who are on the other end, like you went in there, you made a very poor decision, you got tossed on your elbow. What happened happened. It doesn't take away from the fact that you lost the fight.
Yeah.
Um, so he might have to do kind of like what Peter Yan did, which he didn't get hurt, but he had to fight his way back to the belt, even though he was holding the belt.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
um, and I don't think it would take him that long to fight back to it,
No. In a
but he
matter
probably
of
will have
fact,
one in there.
I think that if you're going to give somebody that shot and Brandon Royval says, you know what? This guy is not, I'm not going to be the gatekeeper for this guy. I think Pantoja, I don't think Pantoja is the first choice,
No,
but I think if Pantoja says, you know what? I want to prove that I'm the guy who gets the title shot
still,
next,
yeah.
you put him against Kavanaugh and
Hmm.
let people see what Kavanaugh's got against a champion who defended his belt 4 times in the last year, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And see where the chips fall on that. But I don't know that he'll do that. It just depends on how confident he is in that arm and that elbow. If he's very confident in it, if I'm him, I call Dana and
You go
say,
right at
"Hey,
there.
I'm
Give me
ready
a
to
pin.
fight the
Give
winner of
me
this next fight. Put me on. and then I'll take on the winner of Horiguchi, um,
Cop.
Cop,
Yeah.
and that sets up title fight, title fight, title fight. You're 3 deep in the title fight. If he loses the fight to Tyra or
Mm-hmm.
Van, then they're gonna fight the Cop Horiguchi shot.
Mm-hmm.
But you're like 3 title shots away, and so again, that sticks Royval as being the odd man out.
It does.
So I think that's where Kavanagh goes. He goes to Royval or he goes to Pantoja.
He kind of
And
has to.
yeah. But I mean, unless he wants to fight somebody else in the top 10 that's not above him, which they has happened before, but who
He could
you
do
know.
that, but why? The risk you just took to fight Brandon Moreno on
Yeah.
short notice would be kind of wasted, right? So I don't
Um
know. A lot of
maybe you
angles
want
out
to
of there.
solidify it and prove it if nobody's willing to fight you. That happens
Then I'll
before. I mean, how many times, and we don't actually know this, but Chimaev, how many times did he go a year between fights? People were like, "Oh, it's just him," but how much of it was people just didn't want to fight him? I wonder about that.
There's
Like,
some of that potentially,
so you're right
but
up
now he's the
above him,
champ and everybody wants the belt. And I'm seeing a
and
lot of the same things.
he
So
don't want to fight anybody.
yeah, talking about he's waiting for Strickland. When somebody asked him if he wanted to
Which,
do Raf, he said he's waiting for Strickland. It's like, oh, are you?
by the
Okay.
way, with Pereira moving up with that news that he vacated that title,
Yes.
I feel like the chances of Chimaev moving up just became exponentially higher. What do you think about that?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree. I especially agree if Yuri beats Carlos Ulberg, or even if Carlos Ulberg beats Yuri, the next fight we might see is Chimaev against one of those guys.
hmm I think we will too.
And it'll
And
be Chimaev for the light heavyweight.
and I think that he's going to have to vacate. In which
Yes.
case that opens that middleweight division up to
Yes.
Strickland versus Duplessis,
Duplessis 3. Or Strickland versus
Imanov.
uh yeah, Imavov.
Yeah, Imavov. What I say, Imanov?
Yeah,
Imavov.
which I think there is an Imanov, but yeah, Imavov 2.
Yeah,
Yeah. A lot of I don't want to say gifted, but gifted title shots are about to happen, I think,
yeah.
in this little realm here. I think we're gonna see Alex at heavyweight at the White House card. Because he's training for something. Um
Did you
and
hear that there's a rumor out there that that fight date could be changed? I think Dana denied it, but that the fight date would not actually be on July 4th.
I could see it not being on July 4th. When is July
Um,
4th?
I don't know. Apparently, isn't that Trump's birthday too?
Is
Be-
that true?
I think it is because that's
July
why
4th is a Saturday. It has to be on July 4th.
yeah.
July 4th is a Saturday. It has to be on July 4th. I'm sorry. That just works out too well. July 4th is a Saturday. That's nuts. Yeah, it's happening. If I didn't think it was happening before, it's definitely happening now. That's intense.
In
And if it's his
250
birthday,
years,
it's definitely happening.
yeah, 250 years of the country.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely happening. Hey, I'm
You think
excited for that one too.
John Jones Pereira?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
Mm,
John's in talks. So
mm.
preemptive odds are -400 John Jones, +230 Pereira.
You ever seen
I
John
don't think that's
Jones get
crazy.
hit with hands like Pereira has? I don't think I've seen it because he
I
never
think
fought
he'd
Rumble.
I think he'd approach it the same way he approached um Rampage.
Mm, mm.
Um a style like that.
Yeah,
I
Rampage is
think
so much shorter and
or he might just approach it how he approached Gon and just immediately test his wits
yeah,
on the
takedown.
takedown.
Yeah,
Um
that would be the
but
smart decision for me.
we've watched Pereira stuff a couple. If Pereira stuffs it and is able to get his hands off at all, it could be interesting. But I don't know. Well,
That's
I
interesting.
need some confirmations on a lot of it.
Yeah.
The only thing we do have now is Yuri is fighting for a belt at UFC 327 in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep.
against Ulberg. There's 2 fights on that UFC 227 that are for belts. And that'll
Yeah.
be exciting, but that won't be the next one we cover. The next one we cover, which hopefully we could do this week,
Mm-hmm.
uh barring how our regular day jobs go,
Yeah.
um, is the BMF belt. Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira, which should be an immaculate, amazing fight. Um, Super excited for that one. And that card is okay. Looking at it, it's okay. There's some good ones on there. There's some guys I got to look and see what I'm looking at, but that one should
Mhm.
be a pretty good fight still. Um, Shouts out to this fight night for being a great one too. I think it
Yeah.
went over pretty much without a hitch. Um, Good moments on there. Things to look forward to. Fighters to look forward to. And gets me excited for this BMF fight coming up on Saturday. What says you as we close it out, Mr. Roger?
As we close it out, a lot of these young guys are coming, and they're a lot of them are in the lower weights. We didn't see a lot of them in the upper weights. Gandra was one of
Straight
them we did.
flyweights everywhere. Yep.
Yeah, so that flyweight division, to be honest with you, is getting stacked. And then bantamweight's not far behind it.
Hmm.
Um, and
And people look like they're
featherweight's
gonna
on
be
the way up
relinquishing some
too.
stuff
Those
at the
those
higher weights too.
those lightweights are getting beefed up. Those rankings are about to get beefed up. You're about to get an injection of talent in the UFC. I guess you've already got it. Now it's just got to spread around throughout the division.
Yep.
And exciting time for that weight class. A lot of
Super
good young
exciting.
talent that you can watch for a few years. And if they keep bringing in guys like this, it's about to get a lot more active, and you're going to see a
Hmm.
lot more lower weight stars come up.
Prepare for all
Hmm.
that fun. Prepare for all of it, and we'll be here for all of it with you to cover it. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank y'all again for tuning into the pod weekly, and we will see y'all on the next one. Peace.
Later.